Hello students, welcome to our English class. I am Roopna Ravindran, Assistant Professor of English, Government Degree College, Chevalla in Rangareddy district of Telangana state. Today, let's discuss an interesting poem written by one of the most famous women writers of India, Kamala Das. Let us go to the first slide. Here, look at the author's pic, Kamala Das. She was born in 1934 at Thrissur in Kerala, and she died on May 31st, 2009 in Pune. Das was born into a high status family in Kerala. Her mother, Balamani Amma, was a well-known poet, and her father, V.M. Nair, was an automobile company executive and a journalist. Their family owned a famous newspaper in Kerala. She grew up in Kerala and in Calcutta. Her father worked in Calcutta, so she grew up there also. She had part of her education done in Kerala and also in Calcutta. Her long stay in Calcutta during her childhood brought her in close contact with English language. She had her early education in a European school in Calcutta, and she was one of the few Indian students admitted there in that school. It was pre-independent India, before independence. So, vast majority of the students in that school were Anglo-Indians and Europeans. Later, during the Second World War, she was admitted in elementary school at her native place. She was brought back to her native place at Thrissur in Kerala, and she continued her education there at Thrissur. Then she was sent to St. Joseph's Convent School at Thrissur, where she completed her 6th standard. My Story is her autobiography, a very famous book, and in that autobiography, she narrates several of her experience in the convent school hostel where she was a resident student. Subsequently, she was taken to Calcutta and was admitted into a school there. After the World War and all, she was again taken to Calcutta and was admitted into a school there. In the autobiography, she mentions about the teachers there in the convent school. They were all old maids, and they were very bold, very strong people. They have turned sore of rejection, and they were all of sadist kind of people. They were not happy lots, but they found pleasure, sadistic pleasure. She began writing poetry when she was a child. She was married at a very early age, at the age of 15, and then moved to Bombay with her husband. She had 3 sons. So at a very young age, she was married, and she wanted to pursue her passion for writing. So she used to sit down at the night and then write poems, write novels and all. So she couldn't satisfy the expectations of her husband, her family and society at large of her duties as a wife and a mother. In 1999, she controversially converted to Islam. Born in a Hindu family, later on in her life, almost in her old age, in 1999, she got converted to Islam, and she remained in Islam. She remained as a Muslim till her death. So she renamed herself as Kamala Suraya. Kamala Das was one of the most prominent feminist voices in the post-colonial era. So during the British colonialization, the literature, Indian literature during the period is called colonial literature, and after independence, the literature is termed post-colonial literature. So during the post-colonial era, she portrayed the women in her poems as human with desire, pain and emotions. No other woman writer has mentioned these kind of characters in their work earlier. So that is how she became very notable. She is a bold writer and many couldn't digest what she was writing. She is very bold in her writings. She writes very much openly about feminine desires, pain and emotions. So in Malayalam, she was named Madhavikutty, and in English writings, she used the pen name Kamla Das. Das' poetry collections included Summer in Calcutta, published in 1965, The Descendants, published in 1967, and The Old Playhouse and Other Poems, published in 1973. Apart from her poems in English, she published 11 books in Malayalam. She has produced a bulk of prose writings, mostly autobiographical in nature. She also wrote a number of provocative articles in popular journals. Subsequent English language works included the novel Alphabet of Lust, published in 1976, and short stories A Doll for the Child Prostitute. This was later made into a film in Malayalam. This was published in the year 1977, and Padmavati the Harlot, published in 1992. Notable among her Malayalam works were the short story collection Tanuppu, which means cold, and Balyakala Smaranagal, published in 1987, which means memories of childhood. Her autobiography is the most famous work, that is titled My Story in English, published in 1976, and in Malayalam it is called Ende Katha. It was released in 1973. So she self-translated it into English and titled it My Story. It is regarded as a classic. She received many literary awards, including the Asian World Prize for Literature in 1985. She has been compared to Sylvia Plath because of her confessional style in poetry. Both of their styles are similar, very much autobiographical in nature. They were regarded as confessional style of writing. So in the textbook, you have to learn the poem Punishment in Kindergarten. It is a very easy to read poem, and you can associate with the poem as well. So before we go to the poem, let us read these pre-reading questions and try to answer them. Let us ponder on these questions and then let us read the poem. So it will be interesting for you then. So first question given in your textbook is, do you remember your early school days? Yes, obviously everyone remembers their school days. That is the period when we cherish in our memories. Very beautiful days. Do you have happy memories of your school days or unhappy ones? Both. We have happy memories as well as unhappy ones. Happy memories as in the time when we enjoyed with our friends, the break time, the interval time, the picnic, and every happy moments. Unhappy one, the examination time and other personal moments. Everyone will have their own particular incident to cite. What was the best thing about your school life? For me, it is my friends. Even now, I have those friendship continued in my life. So my friends are the best thing that I had in my school life. And what was the worst thing about your school life? Maybe the strict nature in the school, over discipline and all that. Even the exams are not that good. How was your relationship with your teacher? Depends. With one teacher it would be a good relation, with another teacher it wouldn't be a good relation. So it all depends upon the chemistry between the teacher and you. Were you ever punished by the teacher? Yes. And it is not a good memory. Punishment never will be a good memory for us. I still remember 2 or 3 times when I was punished in the school. it doesn't give a pleasant feeling for me. Were you ever rewarded by the teacher? Yes, rewarded when I got first or second prizes in certain competitions, and when teacher noticed that my handwriting is very good, then she rewarded me with chocolates. So that kind of things everyone will have in their life. Nobody will go unnoticed. So there may be one or the other incident that you have to cite. Do you like being alone or in a group or among lot of people? This is individualistic. Some people will like to sit alone. They will like to sit alone and sit alone and listen to music, sit alone and read books. So those kind of people are called introvert people. They don't want to initiate into a conversation. They want to live in their own shell. There are people who love to be among lot of people, to be in the company of people. So those kinds of people, chatterbox kind of people, they are called extroverts. Do you remember any incident from your picnic? Obviously, everyone will have fond memories about their picnic. Is it a happy memory or a painful one? Majority of the memories will be happy, but then there will be painful ones also. We have heard many times that picnic have become saddening also for some people. They will go for picnic to a beach, and then one or two students will be drowned to death. So those kinds of picnics are saddening, they are shocking too. Is it a happy memory or a painful one? We have already discussed that. Do you think the teachers of kindergarten are properly trained? Some of them are trained, but then all are not trained. So it is good if we give proper training to the teachers of kindergarten, because they are dealing with the precious minds of young children, very young children who are less than 5 years old. Psychologists suggest that our childhood experiences shape our adulthood personality. So we should be very careful while dealing with the young minds, tiny toddlers. Do you think we can ever grow completely out of or forget our childhood? No, it is not possible. We cannot forget our childhood. Completely we cannot forget. Some incidents we may not remember, but other incidents will be crystal clear in our memory. Now let us go to the next slide. Here there is a paragraph. I have taken it from the textbook, and it is about the poem. Actually, this poem is about a childhood experience of the poet. It is autobiographical in nature. The poet was studying in a school in Calcutta, and from the school the students were taken for a picnic to Victoria Gardens in Calcutta. So most of her classmates were European students. I have already mentioned that it is pre-independent India, and most of the students studying in that English medium convent school were Europeans or Anglo-Indian students. So she is only one student who is an Indian in that class. So obviously she felt a little uncomfortable with the company of other foreigners. So she was feeling very lonely from heart, and she couldn't mingle easily with other students. So even during the time of picnic, she couldn't completely enjoy it because she didn't enjoy the company of students. So the teacher also was a European, and she noticed this mismatch between Kamala Das and other students. So the teacher scolds her in a very rude manner, and Kamala Das feels hurt, extremely hurt. She couldn't take the scolding because it comes in such a rude manner. It comes in such a rude manner. So this hurt left an indelible mark in her heart, and she, even after becoming a woman, she couldn't forget it. Completely forget it. That has faded from her memory, but then she couldn't completely come out of that pain. Now, let us read this. Kamla Das reveals in her autobiography that the poem is based on an experience during a picnic to Victoria Gardens in Calcutta. While she was alone near a fence, the other girls were playing. She was sitting alone while the other European girls were enjoying. They were playing. The children were given sugarcane juice, they were given sandwiches, but Kamla Das couldn't take it. She was feeling very lonely at heart, very depressed, so she couldn't eat and she threw it away behind the bushes. She mentions about it in her autobiography, My Story. She mentions about this poem as one of the unhappiest incidents which remained in her memory ever since the incident happened. So, after she was scolded by the insensitive teacher, what she did, she went away to the farthest fence, and then she lay near the fence and she cried. She kept her face on the fence and she cried very badly. It was a pleasant day, but the pleasant day was totally destroyed by the harsh response of the teacher. Madhavikutty or Kamla Das, she felt very lonely that day. She couldn't even enjoy the company of the bright, pleasant sun. For her, it appeared to be very pale, and even her brother was there playing with his classmates, but then even he didn't enjoy the company of the sun. So let me continue this reading this paragraph. The insensitive teacher chided her for being alone. She scolded her for being alone. She ruminates over the childhood hurt. She recollects about that saddening incident with a sense of matured detachment. Now she has become a woman, so she is feeling a little detached from that incident. The poem juxtaposes the past and the present. So it revolves around the present incident as well as the past incident. Childhood innocence and adult experience. So then she was an innocent child, but now over the period of time she has grown into an adult and she has gained lot of experience in life. The sharp memory of pain and the blurring image of people. So that pain is sharp in her memory, but then people, the images of people are not visible in her mind. They have become blurred. Although the poet declares that there is no need to remember the picnic day, the very fact that she recalls the experience so vividly shows that the pain is far from forgotten. She is not able to forget it completely. Now, I think you are very clear about the context of the poem. Now we can read it. Read it for the pleasure of reading, not from the examination point of view. Enjoy the poem, read it along with me, and then let us discuss what the poet is saying. So, coming to the poem, coming to the poem, today the world is a little more my own. She is beginning talking about the present. Now she is a woman. She is a famous writer. So the world is a little more inclusive to me. It is not like earlier. So I am a little acceptable for the world. No need to remember the pain a blue-frocked woman caused. So, in the present, there is no need for me to remember the pain, but still the pain is there. So, I want to talk to you about the incident that happened in my past. A blue-frocked woman is a European teacher, caused throwing words at me like pots and pans. The pain is caused by the blue-frocked woman, the teacher. She threw words at me. She just shouted at me. And how was the shouting like? It was like throwing pots and pans to drain. When people are angry, you might have noticed in films and all, they just throw pots and pans and make a lot of noise. So the scoldings of blue-frocked woman, the teacher, was like throwing pots and pans to the drain. It was so harsh, so rude on the little girl. That honey colored day of peace. So that day was very peaceful, very pleasant to me. But then after this lady scolded me, after the teacher scolded me, even the honey colored day became unpleasant for me. So what did she say? What did the teacher say? Why don't you join the others? What a peculiar child you are. Why are you sitting here alone? Why can't you go and join the rest of the students? How come you are a peculiar child? How come you are very strange? Because she looks strange compared to the Europeans. They are all very fair-skinned white people, and Kamala Das is not fair. She is of dark complexion. So even the students were a little discriminative towards Kamala Das. They looked down upon her. Even the teacher did not like the poet sitting alone. So the teacher scolded her by calling a peculiar child, a very strange person, as she was different from other students. So in this stanza, poet uses three important imageries. One is that of blue-frocked woman. This symbol is used for European teacher. The time is pre-independent India. Britishers were ruling India, so they were the majority. Next is throwing words at me like pots and pans, to show the intensity of teacher's words. So it is like a symbol, throwing words at me like pots and pans. Next is the honey colored day of peace. So it was a pleasant day, which was ruined by the harsh words of the teacher. It was a pleasant day, but then it was ruined by the harsh words of the teacher. Second stanza, we'll move on to the second stanza. On the lawn, in clusters, sat my schoolmates sipping sugarcane. They turned and laughed. So all her classmates were sitting in round, in group, in clusters, and they were given sugarcane juice and everything to eat and drink. So they were all sipping sugarcane. But noticing the scoldings of the teacher, how did the students respond? What did they do? They just turned and laughed at Kamala Das, the young girl. So she felt even more hurt. She couldn't digest at all. Nobody was there to support her. Nobody was there to console her. So what the poet talks about children. Children are funny things. They may look funny when they laugh, but they are not so funny. They can even be cruel. They laugh in mirth at others' tears. They even find happiness. Mirth means happiness. They even find happiness at others' tears. Look at them. I feel like crying, but what are they doing? They are just mocking me. They are just laughing at me. So what I did, I buried my face in the sun-warmed hedge. I didn't feel like looking at them. I didn't feel like seeing their faces. So what I did, I went to the farthest hedge, very far boundary wall, and then I kept my face on that boundary wall and I cried. I could smell the flowers and smelt the flowers and the pain. I could even smell the pain. It was such a saddening incident for me. So I didn't feel like looking at the world, looking at people. So I just covered my face and I cried. I was deeply hurt that day. Third stanza. The words are muffled now. The words are muffled now, not very clear. They have become quieter. The laughing faces only a blur. I don't clearly remember the faces of my classmates also. In my memory, they are blur now. They are not very clear now. The years have sped along. So many years have passed. I have become a woman. So many years have passed by. So I don't remember their names. I don't remember the faces. Even the words have become muffled, have become quieter. But then what is there in my mind? That feeling of hurt is still there in my mind. That sad feeling is still there in my mind. Stopping briefly at beloved halls and moving sadly on. So, life has moved on, stopping at beloved halls. It is halls. So, at precious moments, life has stopped, and I have enjoyed those precious, happy moments. And it has also passed through sad moments also. And after having so much of experience, my mind has found an adult peace. So my mind has found an adult peace. After coming through so many experiences, varied experiences, now I know how to face life, how to face people. Now I don't get that shocked when people criticize me. So I know how to speak boldly to people, how to give answers to the people. But then I was a little girl. I was a kindergarten student, so I didn't know how to respond, and I was deeply hurt by the scoldings of the teacher then. So now in the present, there is no need for me to remember that picnic day. There is no need to remember that picnic day when I lay hidden by a hedge. So today I don't have any necessity to remember that picnic day. I have come out of that feeling of sadness, so I don't want to remember that sad day. When I lay hidden by a hedge, I covered my face by the side of a fence, hedge boundary wall, watching the steel white sun. Kamlada's face has become very pale due to the harsh scoldings of the teacher, and that paleness, that lifelessness is reflected in the sun also. So the sun is not looking that bright, honey colored, pleasant situation now, but it has become pale. Even the sun has become pale, and it looks steel white. It is not yellow in color, brightly shining, but it has become steel white. How is he standing in the sky? How is the sun standing in the sky? It is standing lonely in the sky. So Madhavikutty or Kamla Das is feeling very lonely among the crowd of these European students and European teachers. So similarly, her loneliness is reflected in the steel white sun also. Sun is also feeling very lonely in the sky. Even he is not able to enjoy the company of clouds, birds and all. Hope I am clear. Hope you enjoyed this poem. Very simple poem to read, easily readable. Now let us go to the next slide. Here we have 5 reading comprehension questions and vocabulary. Who was the blue-frocked woman? Tell me. Yeah, it is a European teacher. Who were the children? Her classmates. To what is the teacher scolding words compared to? It is compared to throwing pots and pans in the drain. What do the expression throwing words mean? It means the rude, harsh scoldings of the teacher. What is the figure of speech used in like pots and pans? In first and second semester, you have learned figures of speech. So the first figure of speech that you learned is simile. Simile is used to compare two things using the words like, as and so. So in this sentence also, the poet has used the word like. So the figure of speech used here is simile. Now coming to vocabulary, the first word, a new word that you have to acquaint yourself with is peculiar. Peculiar means unusual or strange. The teacher calls Kamala Das a peculiar child, strange child, different from others. Okay. So the sentence I have given here is, the dog's peculiar behavior worried them. It was behaving unusually. Cluster is a group. It can be a group of people or things. Small clusters of people were gathered at every meeting point. Next, third word is mirth. Mirth means gladness, happiness. The family were full of mirth and excitement after winning the game show. Hedge. Hedge is boundary wall around your garden or around your house. The garden and hedges were looking beautiful with flowers. The garden and hedges were covered with flowers, so it looked very beautiful. Next is muffled. Muffled means making a quieter, softer and difficult to hear kind of voice. Example, the voices of students grew muffled as the principal moved slowly down the hall. The principal was moving very slowly through the hall or down the hall. So the students noticed that and they were just whispering. Their voice came down and they were just whispering and then sitting silently. Blur, not clearly visible. Tears made her vision blur again. So when your eyes are full of tears, water, then you can't see anything. You can't see anything clearly. So that kind of vision is called blurred vision. Halt. Halt means come to a stop. The car came to a halt and then started to roll forward. So that is all in vocabulary. A very simple poem. I hope you loved the poem. You loved reading it. Read it on your own and enjoy. It is a pleasurable experience indeed. So thank you students. Thank you for listening. Here you have references. If you want to read more about Kamala Das or this poem, you can refer to these hyperlinks. Thank you. That's all.